Sorry, guys. Please, can you hear me? Just reactions, please. And react if you can hear me. All right, great. Thank you very much. So I had a bit of distraction. And also, I would like to apologize. That very slide, we were trying to create a kind of a, we're trying to edit a diagram. And then I'm seeing that the diagram doesn't really fit what we want. But then this is the slide that I intended to show. All right. Okay, so now effective conflict resolution strategies. Number one, communication, right? We've discussed on that. Collaboration. So it's not iteration, please. It's collaboration. Finding mutually beneficial solutions, right? So it is important that whenever you are in a team, you collaborate, right? And collaboration means that okay, I see that okay, you bring in your quota, I bring in my quota, and then we meet in the middle in order to see that we solve whatever task is at hand. Compromise. Compromise is very, very key. Finding a middle ground. So people are not the same. These fingers are not the same. They are of different heights, right? It is key that, despite having different sets of people, despite having people with different personalities, people that see things differently, you should find a way to, compromise. People from different culture, from different religion, from different ethnicity, find a way to accommodate them, right? Compromise, right? Find a way, like a middle ground. Okay, look, if you happen to find yourself in this very team, and there is no need for you to or let's say you clearly define that if you are in this very team, you are maybe a representative of this very department. You are an ambassador of this very department. As such, leave your religion, not leave it aside per se, but your religion is not the first thing when you are representing this very team. It is the team that is first, right? So you guys have to find a common ground that you meet. Accommodation, so yielding to other party. So when you happen to be in a team, you have to accommodate other people. So this have to go with the personality thing, right? You have to accommodate one another. Put on a smiling face, right? Understand that people are different, right? So we also have avoidance. So you can choose to avoid conflict, but it is not something that is being advised, right? It's not something that you should do. Now, mostly when there is relationship conflict, right? Relationship conflict, when it arises in a team, sometimes avoiding it is even the best thing to do, right? Don't even dive into it. But then you have to be careful because some of these things, if you avoid them, they build over time and then become something else entirely. Mediation. Now, sometimes when there is a problem, there is a conflict in a team, don't be the one to solve it. Don't bring your team member to solve it. Sometimes bring someone externally so that people can see, the people in your team can see things clearer. They can see things from another perspective, right? So mediation is also another conflict resolution strategy that you can bring into your team in order to solve conflicts that you have, right? So other conflict resolution tips include focus on the issue, not the person, right? So if anything happens now, you shouldn't come and be saying, John, why did you have to do this, right? John, why didn't you do this, right? You can be strategic about how you resolve it. You can say things like, so guys, I think it is important that moving forward, we ensure that we turn up for meetings on time, or we ensure that whenever we're supposed to submit our report, we submit those reports on time. You see, you didn't have to mention a person's name. So this goes to everybody. So even for those that don't even know that there is a particular person that is responsible that brought about the conflict, you know, you have solved it. So moving forward, everyone will try to avoid, you know, repeating that very thing, you know, just to avoid that conflict from happening, right? You shouldn't mention the parties if it is a fight. You mustn't mention the parties, right? You can just generally talk about it, and that's all, right? Okay, so maintain a calm and respectful demeanor, right? So when you are in a team, this mostly goes to the team leads. You ensure that whenever you are resolving conflicts, you are doing it calmly, right? You shouldn't be harsh. You shouldn't be you know, raising your voice when trying to resolve conflict, because that alone could also amount to another conflict, right? So a moment. Okay. Right, so you have to be calm when you are solving issues. Another thing is seek to understand different perspectives. So when you are solving conflict in a team, don't just solve it by listening to one person, right? Listen to both parties. Ensure that, you know, you get perspective from all angles before you can be able to go ahead, you know, to start solving that very issue. Document agreements. Now, this is something I always do. Whenever you're joining my team, provided we're working on any project I'm working on, there is always something that I put on ground just to like I write it down just to clearly state, you know, what is expected of my team members, what we are trying to achieve, and everything else. Sometimes it may even involve you asking your team members to sign, right? You have to ask them to sign. I agree to abide by these rules. I agree that this shared vision is also going to be my vision, right? So that whenever there is any issue, you can always go back to that very agreement that you have, that very document, and say, okay, look, this was what we drafted, right? This was what we said we are going to do. So why the change? Let's please stick to the plan. But if there is need to change the document, fine, right? So it is important that, you know, you also consider this when resolving conflicts. Now, practical tips for team success. When you are in a team, it's important that you understand everything why you are in that team, right? What you want to do in that team, who your team members are. It's very, very important. It's very key for you to know. So how can you ensure that your team is successful, whatever it is they are doing? Okay, so I can see someone raising their hands. Habib Garuba, are you trying to ask a question? Oh, okay, the hands is down. So I suppose that's a mistake. All right, that's fine. Please, okay, someone is asking for the slide. Oh, okay. Oloru, okay, that's also a mistake, I suppose. So I am sharing, I'm going to share the slide with you. I'll share the slide immediately when I'm done. So you expect to get that. Vanessa, that's the answer to your question. Okay, so I think I'll proceed since there is no further question. So how can you ensure that, you know, your team is successful? Number one is you have to set clear expectations and goals. So, I mean, I've said this, I can't say it enough. Whatever it is you are doing, if you are in a team, then there is a project, right? You just don't form a team for forming team's sake. There is something you want to achieve. That very thing you want to achieve, you have to explicitly state it. You have to state what are the expectations of your team members. You are in charge of communication. You are in charge of financial records. You're in charge of anything that involves secretary work. This is the expectation of each person in your team. The goals. What is the team expected to achieve in the long run? You have to state it down. Do you have a short-time mission? Do you have a long-time mission? What is it that you're currently working on? What is the next thing you want to work on? These are things you have to clearly set out. If you don't set this out, you are on your way to big trouble, right? I'll call it big trouble. So you are trying to find trouble for yourself if you don't set clear expectations and goals. Establish ground rules for communication. So be very clear. Okay, look, this is how we communicate, right? You don't use demeaning words, right? You can find yourself in a team that is composed of Gen Z. I'm not a Gen Z person, but then I know that if there are Gen Zs in my team, there are certain things that they say that may be a bit, insultive to someone that is not a Gen Z, right? So you have to clearly state out, okay, look, please, no vex. Don't use certain words or don't do certain things when you are in when you happen to find yourself in that very team, right? So ground rules is very, very important. Okay, after certain time, we don't send messages on WhatsApp. Yes, this could be your rules, right? So you have to clearly state them out. It could be something you put in your WhatsApp group, the about page, the description of the WhatsApp group, right? Or you can draft a full document and share to everybody, maybe via email or print it out. Whatever it is, whatever medium you intend to communicate, ensure that ground rules are clearly stated. Regularly review team progress. So when you set expectations and goals for your team and you tell them, okay, look, you can go ahead and start the work, always ensure that you have a way to always check in, find out, okay, what's going on. It could be virtual, it could be physical, it could even be via personal phone calls. You must not always say we have general meeting, right? I hate meetings. Trust me, I do hate meetings. Maybe because I find myself in meetings every single day, right? So I find myself in meetings every day. So maybe you find ways to review team progress, and you cannot review team progress if you don't clearly set what you expect of that very team, right? So always regularly check in with them. Celebrate success and learn from failures. So people that achieve, that go beyond what their expectations, please celebrate them, right? Ensure that once in a while you always reach out to people. Celebrating success doesn't necessarily mean that you organize a party. It could be by just recognizing them, maybe in general meeting. Okay, Team X are able to achieve ABC, and that's quite a remarkable, thing for the team. Please would like to commend them for the great work done. That you have celebrated them. Now that would boost their morale. So it is important that you celebrate, success. Also learn from failures. You wanted to have 500 students onboarded on your platform, but then you eventually ended up with maybe 50, right? Clearly you failed. So understand why you failed, right? Understanding why you fail will help you learn from it. And when you learn from it, you now do it better, right? Provide constructive feedback. So don't be the type that is very harsh. I saw an email that was sent to someone. They are in a team, and then he happened to be the junior person in the team. So the lead sent a very harsh email, right? He sent a very, very harsh email. I saw it. I was like, this is not necessary, right? So provide constructive feedback. Some things can be very, very. Some people can do things that you don't expect them to do in a team, but that does not mean that you should get angry. You should lash it out on them. Find a way to give them feedback. Find a way to tell them what you did is wrong, or this is what you are supposed to do. So be constructive in how you give feedback to your team. And sometimes, mostly when I have new team members on my team, I know that definitely they are bound to do things suboptimally. right? So if you tell them this is not correct, and although it's not really a bad thing to say this is not correct, but then for people that are just joining a team with maybe zero knowledge or zero experience, they might find that a bit harsh on them. Maybe they have really tried their best, but then their best is not enough. So, but you can say things like, okay, you tried here, but I think you can do better by doing X, Y, Z, right? So you are being constructive about your feedback. Now that in turn will help that person get better, and that will now lead to your team being successful. Understand, be aware of different personality types, right? There's this concept called design thinking, and when you're doing design thinking, the first step there is empathy. So empathize with your team members, right? There are some people that are not used to waking up early. Are we together? This was an example. There are some people that are not used to waking up early. It could be that maybe you always work late at night, or maybe if you happen to find yourself in a very busy place like maybe Lagos or Abuja, you see that maybe you leave work even by 4, but before you reach home, it's already 8 or 9, and you have to cook dinner and rest. They have to sleep very late, and that now stops them from waking up early. So that could stop them. Okay, sorry, this is personality type. Sorry, personality type. But although that is also something you should understand, that you have diverse, that you have different types of people or different things that may affect your team members. Don't just be too harsh on them, or don't just assume things. Try to assume you are on their shoes and try to think their way, right? Personality types, yes, definitely you have different people, different personalities. Understand that you will always have different types of people in your team, so be aware of them. Always ensure that whatever it is you are doing, you always have it in mind that you have different people with different personality in your team. Now, encourage diversity of thought. Don't be the type in a team that will always be the one that you just be giving command. No, when you are the type that is giving command, you are likely going to have a team with very low morale. Is someone saying anything?
Link to the Google Telegram group will be sent to your Telegram group.
Okay, can I continue? Please, reactions, can I continue? All right, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, right, understand that you have different types of people in your team. Okay, diversity of thought. Yes, so co-create. I think that's the word I'll use, co-create. Whenever it is you are doing anything, even though the idea is your own, always have this mindset of, guys, what do you think? Right? If we do it like this, what do you think? Right? Always be open to hear from them. It could be, some people might criticize, some people may give constructive ways to support whatever idea you bring, but always ensure that you encourage diversity of thought. Don't be the type that always give command, right? Building a culture of collaboration. Now, collaboration is a key part of being in a team, right? So promote open communication and feedback, right? Always ensure that you give people that very safe space to voice out their ideas. Encourage team building activities. So it's not always work, work, work. You could find time to have your team members do things that will encourage them to build as an actual team. Or in fact, you could, instead of assigning just one person a particular task, you can say, okay, 2 or 3 of you are handling that very task. Foster a culture of trust and respect. It's very, very important. Trust people to get the job done, right? Trust people that they can get the job done. This is just something you just have to do, right? And also respect their opinions, respect that they can get it done, right? These are things that you should encourage. These are cultures you should encourage in a team. Recognize and reward team achievement. So as mentioned in the previous slide, recognize that your team has done something remarkable, and celebrate your team for doing that remarkable thing, right? Establish clear roles and responsibilities, very, very key. Provide opportunities for skill development. So being in a team does not necessarily mean that you are just achieving that very task or you're working on that project, right? Also give them that ability to learn new things, right? For us at O2 Innovation Lab, for all our staff, even if you are a core member that is serving here, you are doing your IT here or whatever, we have this very culture that we have. Whenever there is a class, whenever we're having a class, let's say we're learning software development or whatnot, it is free for all our members, right? So before you finish your engagement with us, you must have learned two, three different skills, right? So we are giving that opportunity to learn. Even though you are part of our team, you also have the ability to learn other things that will help you even outside of that very team. So encourage that very culture when you are in a team. So there is this very popular quote from Helen Keller that says, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. This is just talking about what? Collaboration in a team. Okay, so from this, I think this is the end of my presentation. I actually intended to stop by 4:30, but then it's 4:18. So maybe with the remaining time we have, we could, you can ask your questions, any concern you have, or if you have anything to add, please. As I said earlier, I am not I'm not like, it's not like something that I read. It's something I'm presenting based on my own experience. So feel free to, say, add to what I've said, or even correct what I've said that is not, in line with teamwork or conflict resolutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are open for questions. I don't think we have any question in the chat section. Do we? Oh, okay. So I'm getting claps. So thank you very much. Yes, keep the claps coming. Yeah, so I just shared the slide with you in the comment section. You can check it, and yeah. So please, you feel free to ask your questions. Remember, this is our topic. Yes, please go ahead if you have a question. So I have Fabi B. Unmute yourself and ask your question. Fabi B, please go ahead and ask your question.
All right, sir.
You said? Yeah, I can hear you, although it's cracking.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
All right, sir. All right, sir. You spoke about something on conflict resolution.
Yes.
You said in conflict resolution, we should tackle the issue and not like point to the person and not mention names. Okay.
Exactly.
How about in a team setting, there is a member of the team inciting other team members against what is being discussed on the team. What are we going to do in that situation?
Okay. So you mean the person, there is a particular person that is fighting other people in the team?
Not like he's fighting, he's advising other people against what is being said on the team. We'll talk about something, everybody will agree. Then you go back to meet other people and tell them this, and then they'll start disagreeing.
Okay, so when you find yourself
said
in that very instance, I mean, why that very point is very important is because you as a team player, you have to avoid this confrontational thing, right? Where you happen to be conversing with someone because of a particular thing in a team, right? You don't
Yes,
want to
sir.
find yourself in that very scenario. So what I would advise for you to do, I wouldn't still advise that you call that person's name, but then
Okay.
you can talk to the person personally, tell them about what they are doing isn't right. Or if you don't want to talk to that very person, just still take the same approach. That's for me, right? What works
All
for
right,
me,
sir.
I will
Yes,
go
sir.
to the team, tell them, look, I think it is important that we all work as a team. We shouldn't go out there and start doing things ABC. You understand? Whatever it is
Okay.
that the person
Yes.
is doing, just be strategic about how you
Mm.
approach the matter. But you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you have people or you have to talk to someone in a tone while other team members are there. That could amount to a lot of things that you don't want to find yourself in that very
Yes, sir.
position. Yes,
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
you're welcome. So does anyone have a question?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
My question is not about the class, though. Can I ask?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I've not been able to join the class for the past few weeks now.
Okay.
Today, sir, I have to borrow someone's phone because I'm unable to download the Google Meet on my phone. And this, what's it called? Classmate also, I'm unable to download it. Is there any other app I can make use of?
Okay. So I think for this your question,
Yes, sir.
the best person that will answer you is Madam Favor. So Madam Favor, I don't know if you have a reply for for the question she just asked.
Yes, sir. How can I meet the person, sir?
How can you?
How can I meet the person you said no?
Okay, the person I just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
Yes, she made her presentation just now. So I think she's still on the call. Favor. Okay, so just hold that thought. What you would do is there any of the team members here?
Sir?
No, I'm just asking generally. Is there any of the team members, anybody from cyber devs here? Okay, so you can maybe ask question in the chat box. I
Okay.
believe the once the team when the team see your question, they should be able to respond to it. But I don't think I'm in the best place to answer your question.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Sir.
So Priscilla Oladipo, I can see your hand is also raised. Go ahead. Priscilla Oladapo, your hand is raised. Okay, so I'm also seeing who else is raising their hands? Okay, Favi, is your hand still raised? Favi, is your hand still? If it is, please go ahead, unmute yourself and
No, sir.
ask.
It's not raised. It's not
Okay,
raised, but someone at the chat asked the question.
okay, let me check the chat and
All right, sir.
answer the question. So, okay, you need access. Oh, sorry about that. So let me give you access to, okay. So let me give access. So I'll be dropping the updated link. So make it public, copy link, Google Meet, and send. Okay, so this is the updated this thing here. Okay, so someone is saying, sir, in a situation whereby a team member have been warned many times against doing a particular thing that affects the team, but the person wouldn't listen, what should be the right thing to be done to that person? Yes, correct. So you can happen to find yourself in that very situation. Now, let me give you an instance of what happened when I was in university. I was the software director in the department then, and then I have an assistant software director. So the assistant software director always, delivers late, right? He always delivers late. He's always giving excuses, and it's always causing this kind of friction. And this person has been warned severally. So at the end of the day, what we did was that, okay, look, we had to call a meeting in that very regard and say, look, we are taking you off, right? You are being suspended from, holding that very position. So taking team members off your team is not a bad thing, right? So you can take team members off your team if they consistently continue to drag the team backwards. Remember, the goal of the team is to achieve a task. So if one person is trying to be the person that is making that team not to achieve that task, then taking that person off that very team is also, a way of trying to achieve that very task, right? So it's a strategy you can employ. If the person is giving you a headache, you take him off that team, right? So I believe that answers your question, Mudasiru Bakari. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I can see another question from Oyiwumi. Please go ahead and ask your question. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Oyiwumi, are you with us? Oh, okay. So I don't really know, but I think we have an admin. I don't know if they are doing that. So that's about the person asking if attendance has been taken. Mariam Suleiman. Mariam Suleiman.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. So Mariam Suleiman should go first before you or me. Mariam Suleiman, please.
All right, sir. You were saying something like the person name during the meeting shouldn't be called for maybe misbehaving. Like, okay, you can just say whatever the problem is without exactly pointing at the person. So,
Yes.
sir, my question is not that. Are you saying that? And every time somebody asks you a question, you keep saying that, oh, there are other ways to do that without really picking out the person from the crowd. Are you saying that at all times somebody should still stick to, oh, not saying singling out the person out?
Sorry, can you maybe go say your question again?
So you were saying that when someone is causing problem in the team, you can just say the problem without exactly singling out the person, like by calling the person name. So I'm saying that, is it at all times we should take that approach of not singling out the person at all times, regardless of how the person is misbehaving? And maybe the final approach will be maybe telling the person to resign or something like that, just the way you did to your assistant software developer.
Okay. Yeah. So yes. Thank you very much for that very question. So yes, it's not every time that you will not single out a person, that you not call a person's name. So there are instances where it is very important that you don't just point out fingers, right? Now, when, for example, when it sounds as if it's going to be like you are public shaming someone, right? And then that person can end up defending themselves, trying to maybe openly also defend themselves, because obviously they are trying to public shame them, and that can lead to another chaos entirely different. It is very important you don't mention names, right? So another situation where you don't want to mention a person's name is most likely when there is a kind of relationship that exists maybe between that person and the team, right? It is important that you maintain that very relationship and not mention that very person's name. But there are other instances that you can mention the person's name, right? So sometimes, just for clarity, right? For clarity, because sometimes you can't just say a person did something wrong. You give them that room to defend themselves. So you can say something like, okay, John, can you help us understand what happened, yesterday on the general group chat? You see, now you are calling their name, but you're not calling their name and saying that they actually did something wrong. You are giving them that very opportunity to explain themselves better. Maybe from that explanation, you can be able to know whether that person is actually trying to cause problem or not. Right? Another instance where calling a person's name is also something you can consider when trying to solve a conflict is when you're trying to encourage responsibility. Right? By responsibility, it means, okay, look, okay, I think it still relates to the issue of clarity. Accountability, sorry, what I mentioned earlier, that's like saying, okay, look, come and explain yourself, right? It also gives them that room for responsibility, for taking responsibility of whatever it is they are trying to do. So in general, it's not in every instance that you do not single out a person's name, but advisably, when trying to resolve conflict, do not mention people's name. Try to make it as generic as possible. That's my take on it.
Okay, sir. All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Okay, so I'm seeing a question in the chat box. Yes, sir, I've not been able to attend the class from the beginning because I'm unable to doubt. Okay, so I think Hamidu Aishat, if there's the admin for cyber devs, please you should respond to Hamidu Aishat. Also, Habib Garuba, thank you very much for finding the class insightful. So, Eyumi, do you still have something to say? You can unmute yourself and, have the mic.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So you mentioned something earlier about confrontation, that like as a leader, you have to like avoid confrontation. I don't know if I heard that right. I want to ask why.
Okay, so imagine yourself in a team. Like, let's say, you're also a university student, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, are you part of the expos for your department or for your church or something?
No, sir.
Are you?
No, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, now imagine yourself in a situation where you have a meeting, and then you now told somebody that, see, what you are doing is not correct. I don't want you to ever do it again. You call the person's name, you point at that very person, and then that person would like to defend themselves because obviously you have called them out in the public space. Be like, why would you be telling me that? Because you are in a university setting. You just happen to find yourself in a subset of that very university. You just form a team, right? Most likely, even that person might be a year ahead of you, but you happen to be, in a key position or just a normal floor member. If you single out that very person and call that person's name, that person may feel attacked, and then he may now end up saying, trying to defend himself since it's something public. Why would you be talking to me like that? Am I your mate and stuff like that? From trying to solve the problem, you have created another problem, right? Chaos has erupted. Before you know it, the whole thing that you're trying to do have already, spoiled. So it is important that as a leader or as anybody in a team, your focus is always on results. What are we trying to achieve? These conflicts, just know that they are going to come up. And you should find strategies on how you should solve them or avoid them. There's conflict avoidance also. So confrontation is one of the things you must try to avoid, except if you are doing it on an individual base. Maybe you meet the person personally and then you are talking to that very person, right? So that is my own take on that very aspect. Thank you. Does that answer your question, or you still have something to add to that?
So you can do it like in private with the person, but not like in public where like everybody is present.
Advisably, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. So Hamidu, oh, okay, so I'm going to another person, Lency. Lency, your hand is raised. You can unmute yourself and ask your question. Is Lency with us? Okay, so if Lency is not unmuting, Rebecca or Oluola, please, you can unmute yourself and ask your question. Rebecca Oluola.
It's a mistake, sir.
Yes, who is speaking? Okay, so she's also not talking. Mariam Suleiman, do you still have a question? Your hand is still
Yes,
raised.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Sir, from all your suggestions, is that leaders should take the softest approach to address their team members, like compromise, trying not directly approaching singling them out, other stuff. And then the final one you gave was avoidance. So are you saying that at the end of the day, the leader should just avoid picking at the issue? Like okay, after trying all those soft approach that you've mentioned so far, are you saying that the leader should not actually come out and like single them out, like, okay, oh, you Tolulope, what you are doing is really wrong, and the leader should just take the avoidance approach and do the work themselves, or distribute the work, assign the work to another person in the team, which that other person is not supposed to be the one to do that work? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't really get.
no, not really. So what I said is actually a bit generic. So you find yourself in different situations, right? So different situations, different scenarios warrant for different conflict resolution strategies, right? So I can't just tell you that, look, for every conflict that happens in your team, avoidance is the best option. Or for every problem that happens, you always have to, reach out to that person. Or no, I can't really tell you that there is a one size fits all, right? So it always depends on the scenario, the situation, whatever the issue is what will now trigger the strategy you should employ in solving it. There are instances that singling out a person is what will work best, right? There are instances that there are instances that chaos even needs to happen. That very chaos they are trying to avoid, it even needs to happen, right? So there are times that we're in a team, like everybody is even talking and nobody is even hearing what the other person is saying, right? And that was the best way we're able to communicate and understand our different perspectives, and then find a way. Habib, can you please mute yourself? Find a way that we can compromise, meet in the middle ground, and be able to solve the problem. I say this and I'm going to say it again. Your main goal in a team is to get results. Conflict is just something that will happen. Find a way to solve it, right? If avoiding that conflict is what you must do to solve it, avoid it. But your main goal is to see that you achieve that very thing that your team is meant to achieve, right? So, Mariam, I don't know if that addressed it, or you still have something to ask.
Not really, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, so is there any?
Can I speak on that?
Okay, Habib Garuba, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Well done, sir. So, based on my understanding on what Miriam just asked, I think she's generalizing like leaders or those team leads should not be as disciplined as. But what I see, what I see that is complicating is that you focus on conflict resolution that at least a team lead should be should be soft and be calm in addressing those conflicts, any form of conflict that occurs. So I just want, it's just an addition, though, just to understand it better, or just to make emphasis on that.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Habib. Thank you for that very contribution. And yes, and another thing is,
Good evening, sir.
yeah, good evening.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so you made mention of things that causes conflict, and one of it is scarcity of resources. If I'm
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So in a team whereby there is somebody that is trying to let me use money as an for example.
Yeah.
Okay, so like we all have like 500,000 and we have to like divide it among ourselves. The money is not going to be enough. Then somebody is just trying to like get something that will even be like enough, not considering others. So in that kind of situation, what are we going to do?
That's quite an interesting question. So now I think this goes back to whoever is in charge of the team. So being a team lead, it is important for you to be fair, right? Openness and fairness. These are important attributes a team leader needs to have, right? So when you happen to find yourself in a situation where resources are scarce, please always ensure that you openly tell your members the situation of things. Guys, look, this is what's on ground, right? And it's not going to be enough to go around. Still, you can, from there, you can even, try to, talk to them on how, in fact, hear from them on how best you guys can utilize the limited resources that you have, right? But if you happen to be the type that, okay, look, resources is scarce, and you are the first person that know about it, and then you're now trying to use that to your advantage by now using, overhauling the resources, the limited resources that is on ground, then you see you're not promoting, you're not encouraging openness and fairness, and that alone will lead to conflict. And this is something that is very, very common, very, very common, right? So the advice is, if you happen to be in a team, encourage openness and fairness. It's very, very key. And communicate effectively also. I hope that also addresses your concern.
Thank you, sir. One more thing.
All right.
Okay, so like still using this scenario now. Fine, the leader is very open and fair and all that. Then there is still somebody in the team that is like, okay, this is the amount given to me. I'll just do my thing and just go. Whereas the person can try to like make good use of the resources, the available resources, but the person just feel nonchalant. Like this is just 50,000 naira that is for me, then I'll just do the little thing I can do. Whereas if the person tries like can do something of value, so what can be done to that particular person?
Wow. It seems your question is coming from a place of experience.
A personal experience.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Okay, so let me look at situations I've been that yes. Okay, so in 2021, we formed this team. We created a startup. It's called Easy Buy for Me. So you can check it on Google. You see a lot of things that we have done. Easy Buy for in figures, and then me. So we are a team of three, and right there we already know that, look, we have limited resources, guys. Right? We have limited resources. There is no way that we can get this thing done with the resources we have. So it is very important that at this very point in time we have an agreement on ground, right? By resources, then it means capital, right? So what we had to do was, okay, anybody that is able to bring in more capital, that capital is no longer considered as capital, it's going to be considered as debt. So whenever we start making money, we give it to you. But then, if we don't happen to make money, just know that your money has gone. Do you understand? So open communication. Now, when we are moving further, things started getting much on us, and then we needed to hire. So when we hired people to start working on our team, we told them, look, we don't have much money. Look at what we have on ground. We can only handle your basic needs like transportation and internet. But other money that will come in, you will not get it now. It's going to come in later. Right? When we start making money or we have any huge investment that come in, whatever we're owing you is going to be recorded as debt. So we're going to handle it first before we even do anything. And they agreed. Till date, we're still working together. Right? So what I'm trying to say is, wherever you find yourself, clear communication is very, very important. Communicate very, very well at the very first instance. Let all your members understand that this and this and this is what's on ground. If you know that, for example, monetary case now is very, very key. Communicate to, look, guys, this thing that we're doing, this is how much we are going to be paying you. We are going to be paying 10,000 naira till we finish this project. Right? So if we don't pay you even for 3 months, you know that we're owing you 30,000. But if you now happen to find yourself in a place where anything that comes, we share. You understand? Now that's a very dicey situation. I think that's where you found yourself, right? And then when the money came and then you give them, and then maybe they saw that it was small, right? You always have to go back to what the agreement you had at the first instance. Okay, this was what the agreement we have, right? So even if you cannot state exact amount you are going to give them, you can say, okay, fine, we're going to do it based on percentage. This is a particular percentage that you have, right? And then based on what entered, this is how much you are entitled to based on your percentage. Right? So if the person now sees that thing being small, even though the person has agreed to the initial term, right? You can now hold that person, you can now see that that person is the person that is not doing the right thing. I don't know if it makes sense to you, the scenario and my explanation, right? In summary, just ensure that you are very clear on things, on how resources is being shared in your team. Be very, very clear about it. Right?
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, you're welcome. So, Blessing Omieza. Blessing Omieza. Are you
Sorry,
trying
good
to ask
evening,
a
sir.
question? Yeah, good evening.
All right, thank you very much, sir. I
You're
have a question, and I'm so sorry. I don't know if it's really relating, but it popped up in my mind while the last speaker was asking a question. If
okay.
in a situation whereby we're in a team, and as a team lead, there is this person in the team, literally, the person is quite older than the team lead, yes, and then the person is not even giving team lead the opportunity to lead based on the fact that he or she is giving this kind of scenario of, okay, I am far older than you are, so I have more experience with life. It is just because of the situation of things that is why I am still an undergraduate. And so even if you are the team lead, that doesn't mean you can direct me in whatsoever way that you might want to go with, because most times I think things like this are actually happening in situations whereby we find ourselves as team leads and all, and then we have people that are far older. When I mean like far older, people that are like, yes, are working, and when it comes to like the age and all, they are far older than the supposed team lead. So in this situation, how do you tend to work with people like this, not trying as much as possible not to get on their wrong side, at the same time delivering your duties as the team lead so that people can see that you are actually capable of leading a particular team?
Wow, that's quite an interesting question. What I would say on this is, on 26th of April, there is a leadership program, still part of this training. Nafisat, who is a very close friend of mine, will be talking about ethics and values in leadership. And also on 24th May, Mr. Asiri, who's someone I also know, is going to be talking to you guys about leadership in the digital age. I think they'll do more justice to this, right? So, but what I would say on this is that, yes, you most times find yourself in situations like that. For example, now in the hub where I am right now, I think I'm older than, let's see, should I say only 40% of the people that are here, but then I happen to be the person that's leading, right? So it's something that I can relate with. You understand? Although it's not something that anybody has opened up to me to challenge me on my leadership or whatever. So what I would say is, if you happen to find yourself in situations like that, please try to ensure that you don't do things that will sound a bit, should I say, disrespectful, right? And at the same time, your main goal, as I still say it, your main goal is to see that you achieve the main objective of that very thing, right? That is your main goal, right? So, well, I think those guys will do best in telling you more about how to handle situations like this, so you can hold that very question and ask them, right? So, but then, yes, this is something that happens, and just
Thank you,
try
sir.
as much as possible to tell, to ensure that whatever the mission of that very thing is what you achieve. You understand? So,
All
yeah,
right.
thank you for putting me in that situation. You're welcome. All right, blessing. Thank you. So maybe one more question before we end. Is already 4:53. Okay, so a new person that have not asked a question. Blessing, you can drop your hand. I think you're done with the question. Hamidu Aishat, you asked a question initially. Do you still have a question? Okay, Afolabi Latifat, let's take your question as the last question before we end the session. Afolabi Latifat, oh, you have dropped your hand. Oh, Mariam still. Okay, so the admin is saying you can ask the question in the Telegram. So please, oh, okay, please you can ask the question in the Telegram group. Perhaps someone more experienced in this could give you an appropriate response. So Mariam, do you have a question, or you forgot to drop down your hand?
It's aside our our topic today.
Okay.
So you're talking about the startups. I wanted to ask, are you hiring?
Okay, so we are currently you're currently not hiring, but then we have a kind of volunteering system, right? So we have a volunteering system on ground where we help people get on board on different programs and projects that we have, so that at the end of the day, you also get experience and also get the opportunity to work in a team. So I can't share the link with you now. I will share it with Abdulaziz. So if he feels it's okay for him to share it with you, I think you guys have a Telegram group. He can share it with you. So once you join the community, you get updates whenever volunteer opportunities are open. In fact, currently we even have two volunteer opportunities open for people to join two programs that we're currently hosting. So that's that about that. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of my presentation. I hope that you have learned from my experience. You have also you are also willing to okay. Oh, thank you guys. I'm seeing a lot of hands, a lot of claps. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. So please feel free to reach out. Did I say how you can reach out? Did I mention how you can reach out? So I will be dropping my LinkedIn. So you can reach out on LinkedIn, or so this is my LinkedIn. So just check the chat box for my personal LinkedIn. Ensure that you connect. Also, you can reach out on Facebook. So you can reach out on Facebook. My email is, this is my email. Do you also need my phone number? I don't think you do now, Abby. So you can reach out to me via any of these platforms, and I'll be very, very happy to respond to you. Just whenever you're reaching out, you can say you are part of the students that attended, the leadership session, so that I can know where you're reaching out from. So I'm interested in anything relating to startups, anything relating to tech. So if you're into tech, reach out. We can gist. Understand? We can gist about tech. We can gist about startup. I can provide you with free mentorship sessions. When I'm free, I provide mentorship sessions to startups. You have an idea, you want to take it to market, you understand, or you have a business you're trying to run and you need help in certain things, you can always reach out. So I remain my humble self, Tasiu Kwaplong, and thank you guys for attending this very session. So admin cyber I think the mic is over to you. Thank you.
Wow, that's an interesting section by Mr. Tasiu. Thank you very much for that great insight from our students. So this has been one of the best sections. I believe has like a number of concepts, number of gaps that we have. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but there's a bit of background noise.
Okay, yes, because I'm on transit, that's why. So I can't introduce Mr. Tasiu, but you can go to his LinkedIn profile to see what he has done. He's actually one of the experts in the tech industry, and we brought him as far as Nasarawa. So, and it's well controlled the Nasarawa tech ecosystem. That means you can pitch to him, can get you the connection, can get you the advice, the link, and everything. Okay, so that's why you got it. It's an appointment for you guys to harness and make use of. So, Mr. Tasiu, thank you very much for this section. I could have also asked you a lot of questions, but I don't have enough time. And for our audience, I really appreciate them for taking their time to listen to this insightful and educative section. I believe they've gotten some things down that they will use for their career. So I wish everybody the best of luck. Thank you very much for attending this section. See you next week when we have another leadership section. It's one of our industry leaders, and he's taking us through some important topic that has relation here.
All right, bye guys.
And hello, sorry, I had issue with my network. Can you hear me now? So I think we've ended this class now. And hello, can you hear me? Confirm if you can hear me, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think we can all leave. So thank you very much, everybody. So
Thank you,
we
sir.
can leave.
Bye.
What do you say?
I said thank you, sir. Bye.
Okay, yeah, bye, bye.
Is it about the go? Because it's hard to aside the thing I talk about the line. So the same time to the line. Malady, Malady, wala niya rin. That's all. Good morning. Deixaram. It's good. Yeah, come to. Mama, take a share of graduate. Nur garwa. Shimana. Bismillah. 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 Nada kami tu. Go, go, go. Exactly.